Hey, everybody, welcome back to another amazing show. This is the Real Estate Marketing Roundtable. Yes, I'm on my couch. Yes, I feel like I want to puke, but I have three amazing human beings that are going to come in. They are going to take the reins and they're going to lead you down the path of success as they're pointing at their different squares. And we're going to get this shit show started. But before that, here's our intro. All right, gentlemen, you guys are going to be leading the pack today. This is a podcast takeover. You guys are going to be dominating and just crushing skulls in regards to whatever you guys want to talk about. I'm going to go find a pot and try not to puke in it because I feel like garbage warmed up, ran over by a Mack truck, and then backed over again. So
we're not letting you go that easy.
Oh, what do you mean?
Greg, sorry you're not feeling good, brother. And guess what? This is the Takeover Room for Improvement podcast.
It is. Room for improvement. All right, I will back out. I'm going to listen to you gentlemen do incredible things, but I got to go get some bubbly water because I'm about ready to die. So, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the show and let these gentlemen feed you knowledge.
Guys, before we start, I just want to bring real quick. Real quick. Here we go. We're starting off the show correct, right? So I just want you guys to know that Thanksgiving is coming very quickly. I have 2 gigantic turkeys in my freezer right now, thawing out, along with ham. But take a look. Oh, man, my screen isn't sharing. There we go.
There you go.
Look at this announcement from Reese's. They are now offering a full-size pie that's a Reese's peanut butter cup. I have to get one of these. I don't know where I'm going to find one, but it's all over the internet. If you love Reese's peanut butter cups, put in the comment. Let me know. I think we need to do hashtag Reese's Thanksgiving. If you guys can find one of these, we need to post it on social media because it looks amazing.
You know what?
Oh, go ahead, Jake.
I tell you what, I love the positiveness coming from you, Nick. I really do. In this whole big world of like catastrophe and consistent, we're waking up to different weirdness,
craziness.
I'm gonna hashtag the shit out of that Reese's for
National Association of Realtors stuff going on. I mean, just there's all kinds of things going on, and Reese's peanut butter pie is number one on my mind. That should let you guys know a glimpse into my world, right? Oh, I get a spot. Look at that.
All right, so wait, 2 things I want to say. Hold on. First of all, me love peanut butter. That's what Nick said. Me love peanut butter. So wait, here's what's interesting to me. You both came in here like your hair was on fire. So I have been literally out of the news cycle loop for the last 2 days prepping for this presentation I had today. What's going on?
What do you got? So Jake, I don't know how many people you've had talk about this. It's all over social media right now. National Association of Realtors, MLS standards. Now we have to disclose the buyer's side commission on MLS that's going to string through and show up on IDX portals like Zillow, Realtor.com, whatever, to the public. Basically, what it comes down to is us having to disclose our fees publicly to the consumer. And there's a lot of mixed emotions around this. I think it's, if one service industry has to disclose, then everybody should have to disclose, right? That's kind of my initial thought process. And that's just not the case right now. So we're kind of being excluded as realtors and put on the chopping block at first, I guess, because we're the largest and weakest organization to not be able to stand up for this. But that's been the biggest kind of, besides the Reese's pie, that's the biggest news item that I've seen in the past week, right?
Well, do me a favor, rank those for me real quick in your world.
Reese's pie for sure is number one.
Is number one.
Is number one.
That makes
because
sense.
Everything else is adaptable, right? And if if Reese's pie is going to end up being like the McRib at McDonald's and it's seasonal, then we got to take advantage of the situation right now.
Agreed.
Right?
I agree with you on that one. I might have a new gift for one of our Thanksgiving parties. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, there you go.
Nick, so dig in on that a little bit. I saw
he's going to try to dig into it on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I know, right? So I saw NAR and the whole association has been raising extra funds to go ahead and combat some Department of Justice statutes. So why the change and what's going on with it?
Yeah, I think we live in this world now of, whoever has the bullseye on them is like up for prosecution, right? So like everybody does something wrong. Everybody's got skeletons in their closet. It's just a matter of who has the most attention right now. For whatever reason, this has been brewing for like the past year. As far as like, there's this secret community, like the agents in the space are trying to be so secretive about how much money we make, and the consumer should be able to see everything up front. But at the end of the day, like our laws as realtors, like we're not allowed to discuss commissions. So the thing that's interesting to me is the fact that us as an organization, like we're not allowed to discuss commissions, and we go straight from like not being able to discuss commissions on a national level to now it's public information. So we kind of like, we jumped over a whole step. Like we can't discuss between us, but then now the public knows everything about everything that's going on. And it's still, at the end of the day, it's still silly, right? There's nothing hiding in terms of like damage to the consumer, in my opinion. But now it's like, okay, we're just going to give people one more excuse at the very face level without really knowing what's involved in the real estate transaction to point their finger at us and say, we make too much money, right? It's kind of like the evolution of know your worth. Like, what do you do? If everybody else, like, and when friends have asked me this, I've already gotten text messages about it, even though I'm not an active agent anymore. I've been in the marketing space for 5 years now. I still get people texting me stuff all the time, like specific real estate information. Like, what if you had your public profile of how much you make just public? Like, what if I could go to your friend who is a school teacher or whatever and just go online somewhere and find out exactly how much he makes per year? Like, you have a general idea. People have a general idea of a percentage of commission that real estate agents make. And now it's just going to be, boom, I know exactly how much this guy's worth. I know exactly how much this is worth. So it's like, it's kind of like this ongoing thing of just degrading the real estate brand and the real estate agent in general, and just kind of like the race to zero kind of thing. Like, well, how much less can I pay this guy, or how much less is this guy going to be worth than the other guy? And this is where, like, my company, my philosophy, and everything that I do with my agents is reinforcing the brand and like what your value is and the message to the market. Because if it all comes down to just like, this is what you're worth based on what Zillow says is IDX, because everybody believes Zillow already, right? So if everybody believes a Zestimate is what your house is worth, then aren't they going to believe that this realtor is only worth that much ever? If it's one realtor showing 0.5% commission on a buy side because of some crazy listing agreement that was made, all of a sudden that's like, oh, well, why should any buyer work for more than, 0.5%? And then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, it's a new standard. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to navigate. I don't think it's fair. I got
a lot of questions, dude. I got to be honest with you. I'm really confused by this. So, for one, help me understand from the genesis of this. This was a federal decision. This was a national decision. Why is it not governed by the states? How come the Florida Association of Realtors isn't going, yeah, we're not doing that?
Well, I think it's pressure as an organization, right? And again, so I don't have any connections. I'm reading articles and stuff just like everybody else on this call. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on this, but from my understanding, it's the national pressure of an organization to comply. And again, that's, going back to the lawsuits that have been going on in the real estate space for MLS for 2 years now, of how fragmented the real estate industry is, where every MLS has their kind of own standards and bylaws. even though we're kind of bound under the whole National Association of Realtors as an organization. So everything is kind of disenfranchised. Like the goal for Zillow, the goal for Redfin, the goal for all of these iBuyer companies is playing out exactly how they want. Is okay. This organization that was protected by one main governing that also was powerful because each independent MLS was under their own kind of rules and regulations, just like what Gene referred to. That's what made it powerful, because there wasn't one big thing. iBuyers and these big tech companies, just like the Facebooks and the social media of the world, Meta or whatever, they want everything under one roof. They want everything to be controlled under one community guideline. And that's what they're trying to do with this, is break down, make the MLS standard across the board, make everything standard across the board so it can be controlled from the top. But it's not with the consumer's best interest in mind. The real part about this is taking the independent contractor away. And it's big corporations trying to fight over one dominant force, which is disenfranchising all the MLSs and tearing everything down. So it's funny that this whole thing is stemming from a public facing perspective as this is good for the consumer. This is not for the consumer. This is for the big companies that want to standardize everything and take control. So it's like that sideways talk. And in the meantime, realtors get run over. And I think it's just a race to zero, because how could you have an IDX MLS feed where you're searching for houses, and every time you're looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in a $250,000 price range, you're looking at hundreds of listings, and within 30 seconds, you've looked at a dozen properties, and every one of those properties, each realtor is making a different amount. And that's just what we deal with as professionals. We understand that everything's flexible, it's negotiable, and you work off of volume, right? You're not making your whole annual salary based on one deal, but the consumer's going to see that, and it's going to be it's going to be a bad taste in their mouth. Why are you making 6% on this one deal, and then I go to another listing and you're making 0.5%? And like, it's not going to be good for us.
Dude, I am like, this is crazy to me, right? So, first of all, you said they're complying, right? Who are they complying with? The iBuyers you're talking about?
So I would put it in terms of pressure from lawsuits that have been happening. And I think correct me if I'm wrong, people can chat and post in the comments. I think it was the MLS board around Vegas. It was either Vegas or Washington that's been going on for like 2 years. And I think that's what kind of spurred this whole thing of transparency to the consumer. And all of that was based on a law firm that was the same law firm that took down like Big Tobacco, because they see the big picture here. If MLSs are not disenfranchised, if they're not independently run, and there's one main organization, if there's one main MLS, then it makes room for what? The one big mega giant to come in and sweep up total market share, right? And that's what makes real estate powerful. That's what makes, the difference between, and Jake talks about this all the time, right? When you talk about marketing, the big companies are spending millions of dollars. The only way that you win is the hyper local expert in your neighborhood, right? Not your city, not your state, not your zip code, but you're the neighborhood realtor. You're the neighborhood person. It's that far down the rabbit hole. These big companies want to break up all that and have the common, just the vanilla experience for everybody, but it's happening right in front of our face, and this is just one more jab to the agent as far as I am thinking something more sinister here. Like this, I feel like the NAR is your union rep. Like they should be, like, from a sports analogy, right? The Major League Baseball Players Association, the guys that run that are assholes, and they're assholes because they protect the players 50 times over. So when I'm a Phillies fan, and this is not what happened, but Bryce Harper decides he wants to sit out for 4 days because his MLB unions protect him. And I'm not saying that about Bryce. Bryce is a murderer, but like that makes me angry as a fan, right? Like, but they do what they do well. They protect their interests and they protect their players better than probably any other union out there, right? I could be off by one or two, but I feel like the NAR
is your union rep, and they're shitting on you. Like,
Yeah.
what's the benefit? I just don't get it. Like, they went to NAR and said, no, you got to disclose shit. And then NAR went, okay. Like, is there, when I say something sinister here, is there a play between NAR and the iBuyer platforms that this is something that's going to, like, go ahead.
Gino, who knows? But we will soon enough. However, we have to take a look at this thing 5-dimensionally, right? And you have to see the noise that's happening here. What was the play that just happened on the board? Now that there's buy-side disclosures and everything else, from a consumer standpoint, they're going to go ahead and take a look at this thing. And they know the consumer is going to go ahead and make their own assessment and opinions of whether or not that's right or wrong. And then they're going to make assumptions saying, oh my gosh, realtors make way too much money. But they don't realize that the large majority of real estate agents across the United States only sell enough homes to go ahead and have a median type income, and they're aspiring to go ahead and do better for themselves. And they have these highs and lows, and they're trying to go ahead and organize and be independent. And we should have less regulation, and we should have more independence, and the market should be able to go ahead and tell us exactly what's going on. It's about the efforts that we put in is what we are going to get in return, right? So what's coming? It is coming, right? So yes, the lobbyists and big money and big tech are pushing to go ahead and make some waves in the industry. So how do you hedge against it, right? You hope that you have representation at a high level, like you're talking about, that can go ahead and have some right versus wrong and let the industry do what it needs to do and what it has done for a long time. However, you have to be continually moving hard, charging hard forward. Like Nick said, that I always say, hyper local, get into the game. Now, ladies and gentlemen, don't overthink this, okay? We are always going to be dealing with some different things on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis in life, all right? There's going to be new policies that come up and new leaders elected and new laws that are put into place, and we always have to pivot. But the items that we always have to do is actionable forward, okay? So I want to throw this out there. The standard real estate commission transaction that has been the average of averages and standard of all times is what? 3% on one side, 3% on the other side of the transaction. Okay. So a lot of the big tech and everything else like that have been trying to reduce those commissions, standardize. Just go out there and get it done. Who cares if it says 3% on one side, 3% on the other? Everybody should know that that's kind of the standard type transaction. Get it done. There is still going to be your consumer need at the point that somebody wants to purchase a home, and that is the right home for them, and it fits their lifestyle. It fits the size of the home that they need now since the pandemic. It's in the right area. Everybody in the family loves it. Go. And that's my opinion on this thing. It is unsettling, however, to go ahead and see all of this change and to see some of the things that are happening. But I would say focus your time and attention and energy towards being the best you can be positive, get out there and start engaging with your consumers. So that's where I'm at on it.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say we were going to talk TikTok, and I wonder if TikTok is one of these things where you now can start showing your worth for that 3% or 6% in short little snippets. Like, you know, it's one of those things where it's like create the story for yourself, right? So we go to a marketing perspective. It's like, look, we said this forever. There's never, ever going to be a time, I shouldn't say that, for as long as we're around, where real estate agents aren't going to be a thing. People want human interaction no matter how much digital tech there is. It doesn't matter. There's still going to be people. There's going to be less needed because of big tech stepping in and making everything, you know, automatic and through online signatures and download this. And I don't have to go out and see it. The video's there and the Matterport. Like, there's going to be less need for an agent, but there's still going to be a need for an agent. So how do you right now get in front of this and create the best scenario for yourself possible? It's by letting everybody else know what the fucking 3% is for. Like, why are 3% to me? If you look at everything an agent does, sometimes is they're underpaid, right? And I'm not an agent. So sometimes you're being underpaid for some of the idiots you work with, some of the assholes that are out there, right? And I'm not sorry I'm being harsh, but that's reality in cases. And some of the marketing dollars that you spend, and there's a lot of things, right? If I was an agent, I mean, I was pissed anyway that I think it's hilarious that people in NAR and all your local places were allowed to sell the data to Zillow for them to sell it back to you after you did all the legwork to get the data in the first place. Like for me, I would have been running up the tree at every board screaming at people if that was my livelihood. Now this, like, I don't know, when's it stop, dude? You're all going to be out of a job soon, I guess. I don't know.
No, it's just the, like I said, it's the jab, right? And so when it comes to like, how do you deal with this? I think the only way to deal with this is shining a big light on it. So anytime you have something that is like, a question or whatever, like we've had, I think Gene has actually asked me this before, where if you haven't talked to somebody in like 5 years, what do you do when you call them on the phone? The best thing you can do is call yourself out. Hey man, sorry, I've been a really shitty friend. I haven't talked to you in 5 years, right? Put it out up front. So this change has happened. Now all of a sudden MLSs are going to show these buyer side commissions. Like you could do a whole video series on TikTok and laugh about how much discrepancy there is in the amount of pay that you get, as most people might not even know about that. Could you imagine going to work every day and getting paid a different amount than you did the day before? Well, that's the life of a realtor. Let me explain. Share your screen, short form video, right? And educating on why you might get paid 0.5% on this deal and 2% on this deal. And again, about education and the process. So to me, the consumer, it's one more step forward, because at the end of the day, the consumer knows what you get paid at closing. This is just making what you get paid at closing public and at the forefront. So is it that big a deal? No, right? Because the consumer would have known at the closing table anyway. Is it just kind of like you just got your pants pulled down? Like that's how it feels to me, right? You're out in front, you're a real estate agent, you're a professional, and this lawsuit just happened and your pants just got pulled down, right?
I disagree with you, bro. I'm going to tell you right now, I disagree with you. I think this is a bigger deal at the outset, because here's what's going to happen. Think of all the people you've done transaction. Ask your mom. Ask your mom all the people that she's done transactions with that she thinks would go online and go, the guy down the street's doing it for 2%. Why aren't you? So somebody is going to undercut you in your market no matter what, and they're either going to get all the business or they're going to force you to come down to where they're at. Like you're taking a pay cut.
So on that note, right, it's just the buyer side, right? So this is IDX portal situation. So this is you can combat, again, education. You can combat that by, that's the listing agreement. So we all know that buyers agents get paid based on listing agreements, right? So the general population, and so if you're an agent right now that's like, if you're I'll put it this way, if your whole marketing plan up until this point is I'm a buyer's agent and I work for free, right? Which is a terrible moniker, because you shouldn't put yourself out there that you work for free. Everybody has value. Like we all know why you do that, but at the end of the day, you can't do that anymore, because now everybody's going to see at face value exactly what you're going to get paid on this deal. To me, the reason why I said like it's pulling your pants down is because it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to admit that like this is what it's come down to in this antitrust world of like nobody believes anybody, nobody trusts anybody, that the consumer's right no matter what. Like I blame Walmart for this from 20 years ago, when you could return something to Walmart without a receipt just because you wanted to. Like like really, when you think about it, when things changed in the world, it was really Walmart. Like I'll pin it all back to Walmart, and I shop at Walmart. We buy our groceries from there. But like the idea flipped in the consumer's head at that point when you could walk into Walmart and it was like the customer's always right. Like that really shifted everything. You didn't need a receipt anymore. You didn't need any proof anymore. You could literally go buy a turkey fryer for Thanksgiving, use it for Thanksgiving, go back to Walmart, return it without the receipt, and say, fucking pound salt. I don't want to pay for this anymore, right? And that was like that's like the first, now the consumer has all the power. Where's the power, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing in marketing. I just had a conversation, and I don't want to go on a huge spiral about this. I just had a conversation with my mentor, my marketing coach, the other day about this, where one of his students in marketing has a collection agency calling them about a $50 some random medical bill that got misappropriated or whatever for $50. And a company is calling this guy for like days and days in a row over a $50 ticket. Okay. Because they're sending him collections over this bill because it's a massive corporation and they're going to take every dime that they want. Right. Meanwhile, as a marketing company like myself, I can have a real estate agent come on board with me, sign an agreement that they're going to work with me, and shove it up my ass next month if they don't feel like paying. And what do? Most of the time, you just eat it, right? I don't file a complaint and show the agreement to a collection agency and get collection people to call my clients if they don't want to work with me. It's well known, right? But it goes back to like the world that we live in is like, if I want to change my mind, I can change my mind and nobody can do anything about it. And that's the fact for most every business in this, like the consumer's always right, no matter what, pound salt. So like, that's where we live right now. Right. So if you know that as a real estate agent, I would just, it's like getting your pants pulled down. You got a spanking. Just know the conversations that you need to have or start having are going to be based around full transparency, right? You're not making your living off one transaction.
So much
you need to be really good. You need to have a really good script when people start asking you, how come this house is only paying you this versus that, right? It's all about education because you're going to be having a lot of those conversations.
Gene, I feel that Nick is pretty passionate about this topic.
I'm getting it. I like where he's at on it. I
do too.
I don't know how many times we can reference getting his pants pulled down, but that's a good part of this.
For all of you people that are playing Real Estate Uncensored, what is it, bingo?
Yes.
Make sure you put that one on the slot. So, room for improvement, right? So There you go. Add another one. You know, as much as everybody always says we shouldn't be talking about politics, I always say we need to understand the political movements that are happening because they actually affect the things that we do in our country and in our business and the way that we interact on multiple levels. Okay, so let's talk about housing and politics and how this actually ties back in to this kind of a sector here real quick. So regardless of what your political belief is, each party governs in a different way, right? One governs in a way that's less government, deregulation, more freedom, more economic, put it out there, let it come back to you. The other side of the house might be more centralized, rule from the top down kind of a scenario, more taxes, a smaller group of people go ahead and actually choose what's best for a majority. Okay, so we can actually see whether or not that is popular in the actual form of the people moving to and from a lot of these different states. Okay, so we see millions of people leaving blue states heading to red states because of the actual state governance and people and their personal beliefs. So how does this tie back into this type of a scenario? We are dealing with a certain political body and its constituents that have a certain way that they rule. And we're seeing some of this, right? So more regulation, more oversight, more control from a few amount of people. So this is going to change again, right? We just have to go through the storm, ladies and gentlemen. We really do. And I would say if you're pulling off the throttle, you're going to lose regardless, even if it's a deregulated economic marketplace. You always have to be charging hard forward into this thing. So as passionate as a lot of you are on this scenario, I would say don't overthink it. You have the ability to go ahead and 2x, 3x, 4x your situation right now. It's about the effort that you put into it. So, but we as a whole group of individuals that are inside of the real estate professional marketplace, licensed or not, okay? We are the people from a marketing component and coaches and teachers and podcast folks that help and support you real estate professionals. So we're in this with you. We see it. And, you know, it's our job to go ahead and be thought leaders and help you understand how to pivot, get into a position to support you guys in all things. But we're in it with you. So, but how do you affect change? You affect change by all of us standing together and literally outlining what's right or what's wrong for the body of that people. Okay, so if there is some type of overstep or overregulation, I'm sure that there's a lot of wonderful people that are going to go ahead and stand up to go ahead and say, hey, this doesn't run properly. So that'll come if there is a hardcore overstep. However, what do we do know? We do know now that you guys are going to have to disclose these things, and the consumer is going to perceive you in a different fashion. So like Nick says, make sure that you're clear and educated as always to go ahead and help understand or help explain to these people what's going on if there is some type of pushback. However, I can say this. If that one person doesn't want to use you because you're getting 3% on buy side, the next person will. So charge hard forward. It's always going to be about the more people you put into your pipeline, the more marketing that you do, that's going to go ahead and fill up. You're going to have those consumers, those prospective consumers that are kind of iffy and focused on that. And if that's the case, then they can go ahead and drive towards somebody else. Here's what's going to happen. If you guys stay strong together as one, hold this thing up, it'll all be fine. The people that are of scarcity mind and are hurting financially, what's going to happen? They're going to be the ones that will go towards the discounts. Okay. They're going to be dragging you down. So we all should hold up and just say, good. Well, hell, if it's 3% on one side, 3 on the other, that's just, it is what it is. Hell, maybe we should take it up to 4 and all hold as one. Okay. So when they're trying to move you in one direction, you all together can go ahead and hold strong and hold it up. So I urge you, give shit to the people that are trying to discount the majority of the population. So stay strong. You guys got this. Don't worry about it. Just keep charging hard forward.
So somebody is super positive today. I like that message. I really do. I'm being honest. I mean, I get fired up. If that was me, I'd be mad. I mean, I really would. But I like what you're saying. Like, this is really, it's true that you got to keep your head down and keep moving. It's okay to pick your head up and take a look at the diversion, right? But you got to figure out a way to continue to fill that pipeline. I mean, a reduction in commission hurts a little bit less if you have an increase in the number of people that you're selling houses for, right? Yeah. So I'm just at a loss a little bit. Like, I don't know why. I don't know what the value behind that is. I don't know why NAR, and I could be missing something, right? Why NAR is like, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's publish that shit, right? Like, what was the incentive? What was the impetus for it? Like, I just don't get it.
It's part of a multi-tier lawsuit that's going on. Again, it's all based on the disenfranchisement, that's a word, of the MLSs being individualized. They want to tear that shit apart. They want to make it one MLS, one set of rules and community guidelines. We've all heard that before from all these platforms, right? Of fairness and what's fair. Is fair control? Because that's what I hear. When I hear all of this, when I see all of this and I see fairness to me means control. Because if it's fair for everybody, then somebody's deciding what's fair.
Yep.
I don't like that.
Yep.
I want to decide what's fair for me. I want Jake to be able to decide what's fair for him, and I want Gene to be able to decide what's fair for him. Right.
While being protected.
Yeah. The consumer has always done that.
Right.
In decades past, right?
Right.
Individual business owners in product and service industries are creating products and they're catering to their customer service policy, and they're really trying to go ahead and get their cost of goods down and give their consumers the most perfect product at the lowest price with the best consumer policy so that they can go ahead and obtain a large market share, right? But a strong economic output is a direct result of what our prospective consumers see, and it's all about the purchasing decisions. When you start having more regulation inside of different industries and verticals, that's when you start getting out of balance. And you're absolutely right, Nick. So, but however,
let's put our marketing hat on here, right?
Do it.
Everybody watches this show. How are we taking advantage of this, right? How are you taking advantage of news, positive or negative? right? So Gene was talking about how, and we've talked about this before on the show. We talk a lot about it recently, which is short form video content, right? Gene just did a full presentation about TikTok. I think we all agree that TikTok is one of the most powerful organic plays at the moment, right? Secondly, close runner-up would be Instagram Reels, and third runner-up to that would be YouTube Shorts, right? So if you are an agent and you're reading Inman News and you're seeing this article and you're passionate about this, how do we turn this into a marketing opportunity? Because like Gene or Jake said, charging hard is always his moniker, right? Of moving forward. It doesn't matter. So what I don't want you to do is hear news like this, feel fear, get crippled, and don't do anything, right? Indecision is the worst decision. I'm as guilty as anybody of this. But it's true, right? At the end of the day, indecision is the worst decision. So if you read news like this and you're already having a bad month or whatever, it puts you in a bad mood. But how do you take that and spin that? Because other realtors in your market are killing it, and other realtors in your market are like not getting paid. So there's always somebody that's going to be successful. It might as well be you, right? So if news comes out that is probably some of the most newsworthy things that have happened in your town, in your market in the last decade, which is realtor commissions are now going to be posted, how do you turn that into a short form content video series to educate the fact that you are the professional, that you know what's going on, give your 2 cents? Because at the end of the day, the reason why short form video and video in general is powerful is because it's your unique perspective. Okay. The reason why you guys watch this show is because you like what Jake has to say, what I have to say, what Gene has to say, what Greg has to say, and you feel like you know us, right? If I meet somebody that's a fan of the show, when I talk to them on the phone, they feel like they know me. That should be your number one goal in marketing, is to get everybody in your area to feel like they already know you before they've met you. And how do you do that? The most effective way to do that right now is through short form video content and thinking like a marketer. So news comes out about this. How do you turn that into a 5 to 10 video series that is highly relevant to your marketplace? Where do you post it? How do you do it? Right. So I say TikTok first. So I'm going to hand it over to Gene since he just did a full presentation about this. I'm giving him a layup. Gene,
Yes.
What would you do, my friend?
So honestly, I'm just thinking about this right now. As I just really spitballed and came up with this, and I think this could be brilliant if you're creative. I would create a TikTok channel and do little TikToks on all the things I think should be made public. So because we're going to go public with NAR, with my commission, here's some other things I think should be made public. And I think if you're creative and come up with some cool shit, that could blow through the roof.
I like that. Hashtag going public.
I think that could be great, dude. Like,
I like that.
Let's talk about shorts for a second. Okay. Everybody now is talking about, okay, what is this short thing? And what do I got to do for shorts? And what is that strategy? All right. Short form information has been used for a long time, ladies and gentlemen. Before social media is pushing you towards shorts, they know that the consumer only has a certain amount of time that they typically watch some type of consumable content. Okay. So from a marketing standpoint, before social and this big world of things started talking about shorts, we always use short form information as a way to go ahead and get attention. And if that short information is attention grabbing enough on the topic, you should then guide them forward towards a longer form piece of information on topic that explains specifically what the consumer needs. So there's a 2-step dance here. Okay. And it's really good. So shine up your boots. Okay. I always suggest every single short form piece of information needs to lead to the root. Okay. Perfect example. If you're doing some type of advertising in a short type form, it's on topic, it's attention getting, it has a link embedded into it, needs to come back towards your core information to where you're actually giving the consumer everything that they want because they came through that short to the longer form, which then you can have a call to action specifically to go ahead and get in touch with you. So shorts have been used for a long time, and you guys need to go ahead and understand it and put it into your mechanisms. But it's I would consider short form information tripwires. We all get served thousands and thousands and thousands of distractions and impressions on a daily basis. So shorts are more reliable to go ahead and get into the attention bucket of all the rest of the other companies and personal people that are trying to gain attention over your prospective consumer. But shorts, do it.
So
Do it.
I want to give you guys a kind of a golden nugget here, and something that I talk about with my tribe. I don't want you to overcomplicate what this is, right? What is that? What is a short, and how do I do it? So if you're first like, okay, I don't know how to do a video, I don't know what to say about a video, the getting into it through doing a short form video content, meaning under 3 minutes, likely under a minute would be great. If you want to do YouTube shorts, it's got to be 58 seconds or less, right? All you're doing is answering one question. So if you want to think about your pillar content, and or if you wanted to really make this a framework, so our framework is making one piece of pillar content per week. And that one piece of pillar content is you answering 3 to 5 questions. So you sit down for 20 to 30 minutes, you answer 3 to 5 questions. Those 3 to 5 questions turn into 3 to 5 different short form videos. So at the end of the day, one video session turns into up to 5 videos. Okay. Again, that can be chopped up even more. But I want you to think about not like looking at a camera and going, hi, my name is Nick Sakis and blah, 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 blah. You're immediately asking the question, right? So I don't know if you guys know this, but my commission is now public on Zillow. You should check it out. Here's the reason why I don't like that, and I don't think it's good for you, right? So there's the hook. There's exactly what I'm talking about. People know before even 5 seconds are involved what this video is going to be about, and you just complete that thought. So you ask a question and you complete your thought, and there's your short form video. The creative side of it is multiple camera angles, stopping and starting, jump cuts, the emojis and stuff involved, sharing your screen, doing different things. Like there's a whole nother creative side, but at a base level, literally answering individual questions as individual videos is short form content. Once you get good at that, just answering individual questions, and I can parlay this back to Gene because he said this 100 times, the best questions could be found in your inbox of what people are asking you on a daily basis. I'll give you another tip. If you go to Uber Suggest, it's Neil Patel. If you guys know who Neil Patel is, he's a really good SEO marketer. He has a free tool online called Uber Suggest, like Uber Eats, but Suggest. You can sign up for a free account. It's a keyword research tool. You can literally type in a keyword and it will give you questions based on that keyword. Kind of like Answer the Public, but Answer the Public's expensive. They used to be free. I've talked about that in years past. That's now super expensive subscription. Uber Suggest you can do, I think, 3 to 5 searches a day. And you can actually find out based on keywords of what questions you should be asking, okay? You could also just do Inman News, or you could just go to TikTok, see what's trending, okay? So that's phase 1. Current news, current questions that you could answer. See what's trending on TikTok as far as music, and put that music behind whatever question you're asking. So you want a viral strategy, you want a chance to go viral, shoot one short form video every single day, answer one question, and plug in a trending audio on the back end. And that's your best chance of going viral in your ecosystem. If you want help, like leverage, like we do that kind of stuff at a leverage standpoint. So I'll sit down with my people for an hour a month and create 20 or 30 pieces of content and then disseminate all that. But like you not having much of a budget, not having a team or anything, literally just answer questions every day on video and push that out on social media, and you'll quickly become the expert. You can have a lot of fun with it too.
Do you remember Alyssa Glutz, right? You guys have been on shows with Alyssa. Call her my credit.
Maybe.
Yeah, she's a mortgage lender that uses credit repair as her 1-minute snippets. That's all she does. Yeah. She's got 500,000 followers.
Right. So there's some creative aspect to it, right? And I think that's what a lot of people are scared of.
Agreed.
Is I'm not creative. I'm not enthusiastic. Or but I promise you, you're passionate about real estate. Most agents are passionate about real estate. So you just have to find your sea legs, if you will, right? And forget the video is the camera's on, and just answer the question as if you were talking to me or Jake or Gene on the other side of the phone, because you're already answering these questions on a daily basis. It's just getting your message out to the market. But that's from a content perspective, what's going on right now, that's really easy. The problem is most agents, you limp into this and you're real lazy about it, and you just rely on like, oh, I didn't plan for doing any videos today, and so I'm just going to go back to the old pocketbook of, why is there closing costs, or why should I have an inspector, or like all the same content that's been regurgitated for a million times that nobody's really interested in, right? So if you go with current events or thing that's going on, like that helps, or your personal brand, or your neighborhood stuff that's going on in your neighborhood. Save the boring real estate transactional stuff that your transaction coordinator would be excited to talk to you about. Your customer is not a transaction coordinator. They don't need to know about all that stuff. So,
Nick, from a short standpoint, I actually go in an opposite direction. I'm a huge fan of probing questions, get responses. So
right.
Short form information for me has always been attention getting. So I ask the question that might be in the mind of the actual consumer. And then that short form information leads them to a longer form piece of content that is typically hosted on my websites, so that I have them in my ecosystem, and then I can retarget those folks. So I'm a huge fan of pulling people off of social into my ecosystem instead of interaction on social. I go to social because that's where the fish are. And then I want to go ahead and drive them from social back to my house.
So you have to meet people where they are. Like that's the biggest issue, is we're not meeting people where they are. The hook, or like your bait, would be to take them off social media, but you have to be where they are first.
That's correct.
In order to.
So I love short form information on social. However, I ask the questions that they might want answered, and the path of the answer leads them back to me personally. So, but I agree, it's very powerful information.
Listen, I love what you said there, and I think about it like this: how do you create your own OnlyFans, right? So think about what that looks like. Is that you're out meeting people where they are on social, and you have enough good stuff that they're willing to come back to where you are behind a paywall and pay you to consume that stuff, right? So like Clever Leads has the website. We want people to be on that website all day and all night. That's what we want. But we got to go fetch them and convince them from Facebook and TikTok to come back there. But the shit has to be good enough that they're going to stay for the dance. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we're
pushing up on some heavy time here, and D McD himself would probably say we need to wrap it up.
He already did through text. He's been texting me that you got to wrap it up in 10 minutes.
He's yelling at us.
Yeah, he's
yelling at me. In all good form and nature, let's go through some closing statements and wrap up the show. So, Gino, what do you have to go ahead and give to the folks as a takeaway for the rest of this week?
Well, you said it earlier. I think you have some great advice. It's like, keep your head down, keep working, spend more, not less. Work on filling your funnel. Don't worry about the 2% versus 3%. But I would also add to that, stand up for yourself every once in a while, man. I'd be calling my people and going, I don't know what this is, but I don't like it. If you don't like it, maybe some people do. But definitely don't take a step back or slow your roll down because of the news. But I would also, if it bothers you half as much as it bothers me for you, I probably would make some phone calls. I don't know. That's just me.
Nick, what's your takeaway?
If I want to go down this rabbit hole, because we're talking about Thanksgiving, we're talking about the Reese's peanut butter pie, and immediately that brings up like the sometimes anxious family. If you have family you don't see every day, maybe it's just once a year, and there's people like, I don't really want to see this person, and you don't talk about it, right? If there's a reason why you're having a fight with your family or somebody in your life or in your world that you don't agree with, it's because you're not in good communication. 9 times out of 10, it's because you're not in good communication. So the point of all of this, right, with the holidays coming and everything, is just be in better communication, right? The people who are in the best communication in their lives, with their spouses, with their family, with their business, with their clients, with their team members, make the most money, have the best life, are quote unquote successful in their own eyes, right? So it all comes down to communication. And the reason why people flock to influencers and why we're in this influencer marketing kind of hubbub or whatever, like, you can make fun of the 16-year-old girl that has 50 million followers on Facebook because you don't understand, or TikTok or Instagram or whatever. But I promise you that they are a better communicator than you. So at the end of the day, you can be the best agent and be the broke agent in your MLS board. You could have the most knowledge in the world and never close a transaction. Meanwhile, the best communicator who doesn't know how to write a contract is beating you every single day, if you consider beating making money, right? So what I urge you to think about and wrap your mind around is just being a better communicator in all aspects of your life, especially on social media. And right now, the best communicators are using short form content on social media.
Do it. Do it. And then let's wrap this up. Jake, I'm going to ask you your final thoughts.
As we always used to say in the good old US of A military, it's always a smart decision to continually put bullets downrange. Charge hard, ladies and gentlemen. Stay blessed and unstoppable. And God bless you and all of your families on this wonderful upcoming Thanksgiving.
No, we're not going to wrap it yet. We're going to do one more thing. Everybody that listens to this and watches us knows how to get in touch with us. I'm not going to put a bow tie on the show because that's Greg McDaniel's thing. So let's talk about colors for the ascot. I'm stepping this up. Talk about room for improvement. I just improved the shit out of the show. So give me colors for the ascot. Let's go.
You already know my colors. I'm going orange and brown for Reese's, baby.
All right. Jake?
I'm going straight black. Men in black.
I don't even know what the two of you just said. We're just wrapping this with an ascot. I don't care what the colors are. So until next week, people, thanks for joining us on Real Estate Uncensored. Hopefully on Friday and on Wednesday, we'll get Gregor's back. But we're out.
We're out.